Hi, I'm T.S.Learner. This is my new book, The Stolen, and you're watching Book Zone.
Thank you for joining me, Topsha. The Stolen is a thriller set against the Nazi treatment of Roma gypsies. Tell us a bit more about the book.
The themes cover the Roma experience in the Holocaust, Swiss dealings with Nazi plunder and with the Nazis, and also some physics. So the actual bulk of the story is set in Zurich in 1982, and my hero is Matthias, who is a 38-year-old physicist with a very difficult 15-year-old daughter, who then of course discovers that his ethnicity is not exactly what he imagined, and then goes on to discover all sorts of terrible crimes and secrets about his Swiss family.
So it's a rather complicated and complex plot. Where did you get the idea from?
My mother's family are Holocaust, and I've always felt that the Roma did not get enough coverage for their experiences in the Second War and with the Holocaust. So there was that impulse to tell their story. Also, like in my other books, my other T.S.Learner books, Sphinx and The Map, I tend to structure very uncomplicated thriller plots around an object with a heritage. In this case, it's a holy object that the Calder Ash, the Roma, have had for a couple of thousand years in that family. And the plot kind of is around the quest to either return that object or discover that object. So despite the complexity of the political themes and the psychological themes, the actual plot line is usually a very fast-moving, entertaining thriller framework.
You mentioned the Holocaust. There does seem to be a Jewish theme that runs through many of your books. Is that conscious or subconscious?
Both. I'm naturally, I think in some of my other genres, because I write short stories and historical fiction, I'm interested in fable telling. So I think that's in my heritage. I'm 3/4 Jewish, 1/4 Protestant, Polish, Russian, English. And I think also I am interested in sort of European history.
You have been described as filling the gap between Dan Brown and Robert Harris. Firstly, do you like that description, and what does it mean?
I think it's a fabulous description, and hats off to both two wonderful writers. I think it means that with Robert Harris, who I'm a particular fan of, I like to go also for unusual historical themes with a lot of vigorous research. I was in rural Transylvania with a Calder Ash woman, interviewing Calder Ash that had gone through the Holocaust. I was also in Switzerland, interviewing Swiss historians. I was also interviewing physicists. And also I tend to have a little element of mysticism in the books, like Dan Brown. And I also use the same kind of quest puzzle plots.
You have been known to dress up to promote your books as a nun, as a scientist, as a nurse. I notice you're in regular clothing now. I suppose you dressed up because you used to write erotic fiction.
I still do write erotic fiction.
Okay, so how hard is it writing good sex? And is good sex writing harder than good fiction, historical fiction writing?
Well, my historical fiction is slightly racy, but for me the sex is really about the psychology of the characters, and then when you actually get into the action, it's about the onomatopoeia, the rhythm, the sentence structure, and just creating the heat and the acceleration. But I think, you know, it's erotica, so it's subjective, it's not objective, although I am definitely on the Henry Miller end rather than the Naeus Nin. I mean, it's sort of a bit hardcore.
Topsha Learner, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.